everyone. It is early December and it's time for us to soak our second round of ranunculus for planting in our greenhouses. You can soak ranunculus for planting in your garden this time of year too, and soaking is a really important step to do before you actually put the plants in the ground. So I'm going to show you how I do it in my house. It's super simple, super easy. Okay, so the tools you need to do this are obviously your ranunculus, which for us come in these paper bags from our supplier. I like to use these mesh bags that actually our tulip bulbs come in, but you don't need something exactly like this. You could use a nut bag, for example, if you're someone who's into making your own like almond milk, the nut bag would be perfect, or anything that has holes in it, and you'll see why in a second. And then you need a bucket, or you could use a big pot, for example, that you make soup in, or even just a big bowl, depending on how many ranunculus you want to soak. This is a ranunculus corm. It's actually a kind of bulb. The name corm just signifies that it also has a little bit of the stem attached as part of the bulb. I don't know, some weird scientific designation. The plant gets planted like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to soak these super dehydrated corms so that they plump up and sprout more easily. I have two kinds of ranunculus here that I'm going to soak today for planting. We like the almondine variety because it's a little more tolerant to the sudden warm springs that we get. Doesn't seem to open up quite as fast as some of the other varieties. So almondine's good. There's tons of different colors. They're all so beautiful. You can't really go wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put each color into my mesh bag. Then I'm going to put all the mesh bags in my bucket, and then we'll do the next step. So here we go. Okay. Now I'm putting my 5-gallon bucket that has my mesh bags filled with ranunculus into just the sink in the laundry room. You can do this outside with a hose. You can do it in your bathtub. I have done it in my bathtub before. You can do it in your kitchen sink, just wherever this bucket fits or the bowl fits or whatever container you're using fits. I'm using cold water. You don't need to use hot water. And I'm just going to fill this bucket all the way up until the water is at the very top, and then I'll show you what's next. All right. Now, my bucket is full of water. My ranunculus is completely submerged. Here's the thing. We want to leave it soaking like this for 2 to 3 hours, but we don't want the water to just be stagnant. We want to keep it at just a very light trickle running over the edge of the bucket to keep the oxygen circulating in the water. So I'm just going to walk away now and come back in 2 to 3 hours, and I'll show you what to expect. Let me pull one out so you can see how it's supposed to look. So they're supposed to be nice and plump. You can see that the legs have become more hydrated. They just look completely different. And now we're ready to go on to the next step. There are several ways to plant your ranunculus once it's soaked. We usually just plant the soaked ranunculus right in the ground. No intermediate step. But today, for a whole bunch of reasons that I won't bore you with, I am going to do another option, which is to fill these mesh bags with a light potting mix or a light compost mix, and then let them sprout in the bags in my basement. So here we go. All right, so I've put plenty of potting soil in the bag. You can see that the ranunculus are completely coated, which is what I wanted. Now I'm going to seal up the top of the bag. I kind of mixed the potting soil around in the bag in hopes that everything gets a nice coat. And then I'm going to put the whole thing in this crate. You can use a box, use whatever you want. This is really just so that everything is in one place, because that's always nice. What I like to do is line the box with something I don't mind getting kind of dirty. And then when I'm done, I'm going to put all my mesh bags in here and then put some potting soil on the top of the bag. You can even put some potting soil on the bottom of the box too, just so that everything is for sure in some kind of mix. The reason for that is you don't want the corms to dry out during this process. You don't want like cold winter air touching them, for example. You also don't want them to be too wet because then they might rot. So just having everything be coated in nice, light, dry, sort of peat moss-based potting soil is the best way to get these guys to sprout. What I'm going to do is put these in a root cellar or a basement or just somewhere that is kind of enclosed that's going to be about 40 to 50 degrees just continuously. And then in about 10 days to 2 weeks, I'm going to come back and check them. And if everything went well, I should see little sprouts and little roots. So that's really all there is to it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Come on, little monsters. Get coated.